Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Over Bar the Cricket, a very different edition today. Going to discuss Big Bash, of course. We're at the sharp end of that, but I'm taking some questions from the floor. They're All Over Bar the Cricket family members have fired in with some questions for these two superstars, so I'm going to run them by Bluey and the Big Doss. We're going to get some stories, some answers to the questions you're desperate to ask some of the biggest names in the game. Welcome to you, Bluey, and I'm not sure who the other bloke is, to be honest. I'm looking to the far left. What is up there?
Haydos, have you been shoving your pillowcase full of cow manure? That hair has taken off like no man's.
Mate, I'm trying to act like a beaten favourite here. I've got in the sun, I'm in the surf. I just can't erase it anymore. It's just springing to life.
Oh, it is unbelievable. Mate, I am complimenting you on that. That looks absolutely brilliant. Yes. So well done, well done. Hey, I want to start before we get underway. I've got some boys here. I'm down the beach, as you two know, and I've got some boys here from Solomon's Flooring in Warrnambool. I think it's Solomon's Flooring. Now, we've all worked hard on the track. No doubt about that. When you're going through a pre-season session or whatever, you work your ass off, 1K reps.
Some harder than others. Yep.
Well, you were pretty good. Well, you were soft. I never played with Doss, and I certainly used to beat you in the runs. But what I'm saying this because, boys, what are we now, midday or a bit after? These two lads from Solomon's Flooring arrived here at 8 o'clock. So for 4 hours, Doss, they have not stopped, and it is shit work. Like ripping a carpet up and underlay and then going back. I just want to say, removal is the same. There are times in your life where you're just in awe of how hard blokes work on the tools. And these two, my God, that is just credit to them, I'm saying, Big Doss.
What are they laying down, JB?
No, well, the carpet we had, is no good. So that needs to come up. And a very similar carpet's going back down. But apparently what's happened is the underlay has stuck to what was underneath, so they can't just rip that up and do a normal job. They've actually got to get the machinery out and scrape it off this hardwood floor that's underneath, and that's taken them 3 of the 4 hours. So I've been watching them. I'm like, boys, well done.
I can relate to all of that. That sounds like something that happened to me about 4 months ago.
You didn't do it yourself, though.
Well, I had 3 or 4 warriors working at the back end here, but yeah, no, they do work hard. Not Smoko and sight. Good on them.
No Smoko. I'm admiring it as I'm watching.
You got the whip out because you're paying them by the hour, no doubt, and it's hard. JB basically, Haydos is just given up on trying to get all the red wine out of the carpet down there at the holiday home. So he's just thought, right, let's just replace the whole thing.
Do you reckon I've got the whip out, or could you have a wild guess at who might have the whip out? My God.
Anyway, deflecting.
I am just copping it. I am copping it like something that's about 3 lengths back with 200 to run. Now, boys, let's discuss, before we get to the questions, a bit of Big Bash, because we're getting to the sharp end. We've got 3 teams left in it. I'm just going to have a very quick whinge about Duckworth-Lewis. I can't stand it. Every time Duckworth-Lewis is brought into a game of cricket, one team is very unfairly dealt with, in my humble opinion. I don't know what the answer is, Doss. You watch many more rain-affected short-form games than I do. There has to be a better way to sort the rest of a game out after there's rain, or maybe there isn't. What do you think?
I don't like Duckworth, if I go first, Bluey. I mean, the only trouble is, and I think we've had this conversation earlier on as well, you don't like it, but then what's the best next thing? And I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know what the answer is.
Has to be a better one, surely.
You're right. There has to be in T20 cricket. Usually, though, correct me if I'm wrong, usually it really favours the team that is chasing. And in this case, that side lost. So go figure, right? Maybe it's better than when we think. But, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, with truncated versions of the game, which often happen, right? Our stadiums are outside, and we have had that conversation as well. There needs to be something that's better. And the other thing is to factor in is that Duckworth-Lewis and Stern, it was created prior to impact subs. Now, the Big Bash League doesn't have those
and
at this
power
stage.
surge as well. Yep.
And power surges. So there's new factors that need to be revisited.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's only a minor whinge.
I haven't got anything really to add to that other than from the other night. And I'm not sure whether you caught up with this, Haydos, or not, because you were out there catching snapper and squid. But
what about snapper?
we're seeing a lot more retired batters, right? So Sam Harper got retired the other day, but he got retired mid-over, which I'm not sure is fair, because you can't, if a bowler's going around the park, after 2 deliveries in his over, he can't get replaced. So I think if they're going to retire a batter, it needs to be after a completed over. I'm not sure what you guys think, but mid-over doesn't sit right with me.
I think that's fair.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Anyway, we've got the 3 best teams left in it. The final again is in the West. I think that's the 6th time we've got a decider at either the Wacker or now Optus Stadium. Credit to Vogie boys and that WA setup. Their ability to get their T20 team right is bar none the best in show.
Yeah, I think their list management, Haydos and JB, is sensational. Like, I know for a long period of time they've been able to keep their local talent, which is so important in amongst their list. But the fact that they've gone from a team or a squad that's bowled so well, now they've lost a couple of their star bowlers that have sort of got a bit older and moved on. They've sort of rejigged their squad into a batting powerhouse.
Yeah.
And now they've got a couple of bowlers sort of stepping up as well. So I think they've done a great job. They've definitely got the best batting unit in the competition. And now they've got, young Beardman stepping up as well. So you'd be a brave person to bet against Perth Scorchers from here.
Geez, he looked good the other night. I don't know how much you saw of it, Big Dos, but Marley Beardman he's proper. He's hitting 140. He's 20 years of age. They reckon over there's gears to come for him. It's a really nice, heavy ball shape. I reckon with a red ball, I haven't seen him bowl shield cricket much, but there'd be some nice shape away from the right-handers. So we might have found one there for Aussie cricket.
Yeah, I was watching very closely, actually, JB. In fact, I will pick up one point. There is one commentator that is at least 5 to 10% more biased than me, and that is you. That is you. You at one point, apart from using "we" several times when it was referred to the Scorchers, the one point that I did notice, I think it was when Steve Smith got out, and you said, this day just keeps getting better and better
for the Scorchers.
I'm not sure you added that. I'm not sure you added that line.
I'm a very quiet renegade at the moment, given how well they're playing. But and if truth actually be known, I was slightly leaning the other way because the Sydney final logistically was far easier for me than getting back to Perth.
This or what?
But no, I don't have. Well, if it came over like that, that's poor by me because I don't have any leanings towards him. But I like Marley Beardman. I think he's got some
good. I like him.
Real juice for the future of our game. All right, so boys, I've got this ability for people. And by the way, ask your questions on our Instagram site if you want the boys to answer. But I've got 5 here that have come through that I'm going to roll through you two. Because we have got a bit of a lull. The tests have finished and Big Bash is on, but we've got the World Cup coming up, so we've got some big stuff on the way and big stuff just finished. We've got a little gap in the middle. So here we go. Let's start with this one. And Bluey, I'm throwing this to you first. And it comes from Barge. His name is. Hey, boys.
Barge.
Yeah, Barge. Fascinated at fast bowling, he says. Most of us will never face a ball coming down at 150k plus because we're park cricketers, but Dawson Bluey, what does that feel like? What did you do to combat that? And he finishes with, and who was the fastest you faced? So, Bluey, start with you.
Well, I got to face quite a few bowlers that were over 150. One was Brett Lee, so I got Binger in a few one-day games and a few Shield games. I faced Sean Tate in a couple of club games as well, and also a lot in the nets, unfortunately. But Shoaib Akhtar the most in Test match cricket. So I reckon the fastest bowling I faced was up in Brisbane against Pakistan, and myself and Michael Slater put on a very big partnership. Slats batted beautifully. I got given out. It's on YouTube as saying Haydos the worst LBW decision of all time for 80.
That's not the question Barge has asked.
Like that.
He's not referring to an LBW. No, exactly. Yep.
But in terms of what it's like, when I was facing Shoaib Akhtar, and that was the quickest spell I'd faced ever, it was like someone throwing darts at you or throwing something at you from very close range, and it's just a matter of you're looking at the ball. Technique completely goes out the window. Like, you've got to adjust a little bit with, trying to pick your bat up a little bit earlier, but then from there, it is like a dart coming at you. So it's like you see it and you move or you react, and it is very unique, and people probably don't quite understand the difference between 140 Ks and 150 Ks. Yes, it's 10 kilometres an hour, but when it's a cricket ball coming down here, it might as well be 30 Ks. So that's the simplest way I can put it. It's like someone throwing something at you from point blank range, and you've just got to react as quick as possible.
So you've got that 30K difference, Blue, as to what you may be facing in club cricket. And then you add on a bit of spirit, a bit of tang, a bit of mustard, similar to that one I dunked on the Triple M mic that time. So talking about Shoaib Akhtar, the very first time I faced Shoaib Akhtar was at AB Oval. I think it was in 92 or 93, when Pakistan were touring, a very young Shoaib Akhtar. And literally, I had to get the binoculars out at the crease. Mate, where is this bloke?
Yeah.
He's disappeared.
How big was the light? Yeah.
Oh, mate,
the runner.
The locks of hair. It was flowing in off the back of the bloody sight screen. He bowled his first ball, and I left it. And I thought, thank God, because that was quick. So then he comes down, and he says, mate, who are you?
I said, you tell him?
Mate, look at the fucking scoreboard, will you? That's who I am. God, you read. Anyway, you can tell it was game on, right? You can imagine me. That was red rag to a bull. So he goes back, and at the time, Waz was the captain. And he said, honestly, who is this bloke? And he says, Waz gave him a bit of a rundown. Next ball, pushes in off the sight screen. I go to pull it, hits me right in the heart. Now, 160 in the chest felt like someone at point blank range had got a shot put ball, one of those, competition shot balls, and just gone like that. So you talk about a heavy ball, bang, straight in the heart. And he says, I don't know who you are, but you must be a shit player not be able to beat Mark Taylor into the test team. How was that? No worries.
It's a Tubby drive-by.
He's given Tubb a drive-by.
He's given Tubbs a drive-by. Oh. Yes.
Oh, my God.
And he's pushed on.
Can you remember that great test match down in Hobart where we chased a big score? Gilly got 100.
The Midge and Gilly.
Justin Langer got 100. And I was batting with Justin Langer when Shoaib Akhtar bowled him that beamer. And it hit him basically in front of his face. Hit his glove, and I thought he was gone. Like Lang was, broken hand or whatever. But he was mean too, Shoaib. He actually wanted to damage you. He wanted
blood,
bad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What happened in Sharjah? Didn't you cop in there, Big Dos?
Oh, I got him there. Big time. There was a triangular test series. We played 2 in Sri Lanka. It was 1-1 going into Sharjah, and I copped him at the race again. And Australia won the toss. We batted, and was
you
58 degrees.
You would have started it too if
there's
a race involved.
It's hard not to start something when you're eyeballing your opposition fast baller coming out of the dugout. That's a tough scenario. But I didn't start it. But what he started was, I'm going to kill you today with some more fruity language.
Right.
And I thought, mate, that's probably every chance here. You probably bang on. But I thought, what are my conditions? So I went, okay, here's a bit of leverage. It is 58 degrees, Showy. Now, I've never faced beat anything as hot as this. This is literally like putting your face in a fan-forced oven on 220 degrees and just hanging on for grim life. So I say to him, quick as a flash, I said, mate, that's great, but you've got 18 balls to do it. So I did the math, 3 sixes, 18, 3 overs, solid heat. Solid heat. If I get through that, yes. So idiot guts here decides to count them down. I won't go through the whole 18 balls, although every ball has got a story. Cut to the chase of counting it down to about his last over. Runs in, grunt muscle's gone, bowls the ball. And I send him back, and I say to the umpire, Venkat, now Venny's Indian, against Pakistan. I got some leverage here. So I say, Venny, look, mate, I sledge as good as anyone in the game, but surely you can't sledge as you're running into bowl. Venkat goes, oh, yes, you're right. So he tunes him all the way back, and I thought, right, well, there's LBW out of the game. I have to actually, either he does have to kill me, or I've got every chance of winning this little battle. So I send him back to his mark. He gets up into his 5th ball. I pull out.
Oh,
but I count the ball. I pull pull out. So he's got to run all the way back here, still with 5 balls to bowl. Gets to the last ball, because again, it's too long a story. Gets to the last ball, he pulls out, and then I play the big sort of sympathy card. Oh, mate, are you okay? He collapses in the middle of the ground. I'd love to see the footage. Are you okay? Give him a bit of a pat on the back. I said, you really want to go off here, don't you? Look, honestly, mate, it's so hot. No one, oh, look, you bowled your heart out. Anyway, he went off. So I called the gloves, and then all the way off, just absolutely chew his ear off the entire way.
Even I feel sorry for Shoaib now.
Did you cop him again after that, or was that the last meeting?
I copped him plenty of times. In fact, I should, to balance this story up, I should tell a story of how we had this run-in the press coming into the Perth Test match. Again, I can't remember what year it was, but Pakistan v Australia, Perth Test match. Big verbal barrage by Hayden and Akhtar in the press. Very first ball, he comes around the wicket and he bowls this absolute banana thunderbolt, which I leave. It cannons into off stump, and then Shoaib's follow through and send off was as long as his runner, and just going absolutely bananas. So Shoaib was a great competitor. Barge. We probably should put an arse on the back of that as well, because surely his nickname is Barge Arse.
It just says Barge. But no, well done. I like. Yep. I say that, as you both know, my wife is actually a very keen cricket follower, authentic cricket follower. Loves it regardless of our relationship. And she was talking to me about this a while ago, and I said, "Babe, if I could manufacture a way for this to happen, for you to stand in the nets and just stand a couple of feet leg side of the ball and get someone like Mitch Stark, who's got blissful skills, therefore you'd never be in any danger. And just to charge Tatey. in and well, not like Tatey, and bowl you just one ball at 140. I said, darling, you would have an extraordinary appreciation of what these blokes do, because I guarantee you wouldn't see the ball. And if you saw it, it'd just be a blur and a noise going past you. So that when after you experience that, you watch fast bowling, you would then have a great understanding of what the batsmen 22 yards away have got to put up with. All right, love that. JK, next one. Love my equipment, boys. What did you all do with your bats that made them different from what you'd buy in the shop? Protective equipment, the same. So, Dos, let's start with you. What did you do anything different with your bats?
The honest answer to that is, does and do international cricketers, high-ranking or high-level first-class cricketers, get better equipment? And I think the answer is probably yes. I'll give you an example, right? Gloves. Now, a lot of people are fastidious about gloves. It's a summer sport. It's really hot. Therefore, you go through a lot of gloves. But the gloves, Bluey, that I got from GN, they were lamb's hide. They were extremely soft. They were quite thick, and they were just like a wood chopper would be delighted with putting them on their hands. They were just beautiful gloves, you know. Protective equipment, dye guards. You see a lot of the players use custom-made dye guards, and a lot of the manufacturers now have gone into actually custom making gear. It's a pretty, what's the word? It's just, all that equipment it's got to fit right. You're in it your whole life, basically. You're never out of your training kit. The pads were brilliant. The bats, and I think I've told this story again on this podcast. We had a whole pallet of timber. So I'd go down to Grey Nick. I'd spend 3 days, and at the back end of that, I'd come out with 15 bats. And that pallet of timber weren't just any pallet that arrived. They were a pallet that were hand-selected by Stewie, the bat maker, and he would weigh those clefts of timber. So often the pros would get the lighter clefts of timber. And as I said, there might have been 200 in that pallet of timber clefts. Then you'd go through the process of reducing them down. I was very fastidious about handles. So my handles were exact measurements. I didn't really care too much about my bat, although ideally I would like, 9 grains across the bat. And I would like the heartwood of the timber on my inside edge, because left-handers, we get a lot of deliveries from right arm over the wicket bowlers. So I wanted a little bit of protection for my bats, which meant that harder wood, the redwood.
Standard length. Extra long, standard length. Right?
I once tried to use, because I wanted to stand up like Mark Waugh, a long blade bat in the 93 Ashes. I thought, how cool, I'm going to be Mark Waugh. I'm in the Australian team for the first time. I used that and ended up borrowing a bat. Not joking, borrowing a bat from the crowd. It was at an Oxfordshire game of cricket, first class game of cricket, because I was hitting everything 1 inch above the middle of the bat.
Yeah.
So batting posture was the same with the mongoose. The mongoose bat wasn't any longer. It had the same dimensions. As soon as you change batting posture, it becomes a completely different argument. So yeah, you do get better equipment, boy. You?
Yeah, no, same. We definitely got the pick of the wood that came in. I was a Grey Nichols boy all the way through, so I actually never visited the factory, Haydos. I don't know why.
Really?
I was just really happy with Stu. Knew exactly what I liked, and I can honestly say, and I've mentioned it on this podcast before, I think out of how many bats did we get over a career? Who knows? But I reckon I sent 2 bats back saying, I'm not happy with these bats. Can you replace it? So I'm now spending a lot of time in there's a shop here in Adelaide called the Cricket Warehouse, and my boys are always, they need new grips or whatever. So I spend a lot of time in there, and I look at the bats in there that would, the adults would go in and try and buy. And to be frank, they're not like what the players get. So we are spoilt with the wood we get. The protective gear, I was very standard. The only thing, I love the Grey Nichols stuff as well, the thigh pad. I tried to get, everyone loves the Remfrey thigh pads that are custom made for the players. They do them here in Adelaide. I tried those Haydos and hated it. Like it was like the ball would land in my thigh pad, stay there for about 2 seconds, and then just plop down, and I'd end up with this like a dead leg. So I love the Grey Nichols Test match thigh pad. The only real
not a large
for
injury for you either, Bluey, the dead leg.
That's to be talking about good ball to hit your thigh.
Must be said.
Talking about large, I'm large in all the right areas, just not the legs. But with my hands, I've got small hands, so I used to get small men's gloves made for me. And I used to take, this is very naughty, but I used to take the thumb guard out because I just used to, because I used to crank the bottom hand. You did as well, Haydos?
Yeah, I hated the thumb guard.
Yeah. Yep. And it's an absolute no-no because there's so many players get hit right on the end of the thumb. And generally, if you do, it's broken thumb. And the other thing with the handles as well, I was pretty picky as well. But if I didn't, I used to like it slightly thicker for my bottom hand than what it was at the top of the handle. And if it wasn't quite right, I would just get some tape out, some ankle tape, and I just get it to the right thickness underneath the grip. But that's about it.
Well, I was Kookaburra, and their protective gear was elite. So the only thing I used to do is they used to have this tiny bit of leather at the end of your fingers attaching the bottom and the top of the, and I used to get scissors out and cut all them off so you could bend them further. They used to annoy me. But otherwise, their standard stuff was brilliant.
The other thing that's changed, Haydos, and I don't know about your gloves, but I used to get that the leather on the gloves used to have like a powder on it, and it used to take a long time for the powder. It used to be really slippery. So I was like, I'd get new gloves and I'd be rubbing them in the dirt. I don't know whether you found that, but that was annoying. I don't think the gloves have got that anymore.
Give them to
one
Nugget.
memory that one memory I did have. Yeah. One memory I did have of something that annoyed me is that Greynick would sometimes in their models put a layer of foam between your fingers and the actual start of the protective gear.
Yeah.
And I used to hate that because I used to find that because my hands were really close to my body and my stance, that it just took them out a fraction wider. And I just didn't like that feeling. I didn't want anything slipping through my hands. They had to be quite tight as well. I like that feeling of being solid in my gloves.
Well, Lockie now makes magnificent bats for Kookaburra. I've been out there and got them for my boys. He's hand makes them in the factories. He's awesome. But when I used Kookaburra Bluey, fair to say their bats weren't great. So when they came to me with a very, very tiny offer, because first-class cricketers earn nothing out of protective gear, I said to them, I'm more than happy as long as you're happy for me to use the Millie Champ and Hall bats. Julian used to make me 2 a year and put the stickers on it. So I think I'm far enough out of playing to acknowledge that I actually never used a Kookaburra bat in my whole life. But they are now magnificent ones. I also love the oval shape down the bottom. You know, the right hand, I love that oval shape at the bottom of the grip. But everyone, I go out there now, I still can't help myself, and I'll grab Smudge's bats or I grab Kez's bats. And boys, all I'll say to JK, who asked this question, is, my God, the cricket bats now shit all over anything I ever had my hands on as a player. They are elite. And so I'm sure the modern players are much better off than we are. All right, Brownie. L. Brown. We've got a bloke at our club called Furball, who is the sloppiest, dirtiest pig of a man you've ever been in a change room with. Did you boys play with one of them? Bluey.
Oh, geez, yes. There was a guy in our team. You might have faced him, Haydos. His name was Damien Reeves. Now, I think he came down from Northern Territory. Fast bowler. And I caught him, I caught him one day. I mean, there's loads of examples, but I caught him one day. He'd bowled, it was in Adelaide, 40 degrees Celsius. He must have bowled at least 15 overs for the day. So we've come in exhausted. Very unusual for South Australia not to bowl anyone out very quickly in those days, Bray, because it was, we just
day and a half every time we bowled.
Spent so much time in the field, especially in Adelaide. Anyway, so Reevesy, as I called him, I saw him and I had question marks over his hygiene. And anyway, I saw him take his clothes off, get into the shower, came out of the shower, and he put the same jocks and socks on.
No, he didn't do that.
The greatest.
No.
Yes, he did.
Cannot do that.
Yes, he did. Hand on heart, and I pulled him up on it. And he said, "Well, I've only just got to get in the car and go home, and then I'll change." But that's what we were dealing with right there. So I dare you to come up with a better example than that, Big Doss.
Wow. I mean, I've played with some absolutely horrendously filthy animals in my career, I will say. But the top of the pole can only be one Victorian fast bowler with a very, very dodgy moustache.
Not him again.
That is the Swerve Hughes. So I'll take our listeners and viewers back to 1994 tour of South Africa, the first one post-apartheid, at the absolute height of the Mandela regime, where security was at an all-time high because the country did not want its first touring team of any sporting nation to be compromised. So we were playing this game out at Bloemfontein, which Hilly Merv used to call Bloomington. We were off to a bad start the moment we arrived. Anyway, bowled the million overs. It was the same game that Hansi Cronje just absolutely smashed Warnie out of the attack. And also the same game where Heels was putting the Mars bar down to get 12th man run out.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
That game. But every morning we used to have a bomb squad brigade come in through the sheds. And they used to have these enormous, and I must say as well, incredibly beautiful German Shepherds. So these German Shepherds would walk in with these big Afrikaans, because we are in the heart of Afrikaan country, where it's like Texas. You just don't mess with them.
They're big,
simple
protein
as that.
eaters.
big, just eat half a bloody bison for breakfast.
Big boys.
So they come in. This is probably day 2 or day 3. They come in, and this dog just sits down at Merv's bag.
No.
So we're going, mate, what's happening here? Next minute, this dog starts wincing, like
Cowering
and wincing. And Merv goes into his bag and he pulls out one of his socks, at which time the dog's kind of giving this one just the seedy stink eye, and decides to run towards the door. The sock, I reckon, was there for a month even before the tour. It was as salty as a pilchard, like one of the ones I've been catching these snapper at during the week. And it stood up by itself. Just bang, up by itself. He is the filthiest human being. I don't know how Sue, and I love Sue. I love you, Sue. You're an absolutely beauty, Sue Hughes. I don't know how you put up with that filthy animal.
I played a game for Gilly in Wollongong, and played is a stretch, just was involved in, where Merv played. He'd retired for about 10 years. And you remember those sort of wetsuit material bike short things that people used to wear? So we finished the game, and Merv takes his gear off, and he's got this horrible old pair of bike short wetsuit material things, and that's all he's wearing. So he's sitting across the room from me. All I can see is the big, fat, hairy guts, and which I didn't want to look at. Anyway, I'm talking to someone next to me. All I hear is, Bray. And I knew he wanted me to look. I'm like, I'm not looking. Brayshaw. And then he goes, look at me. Look at me. And whoever I was talking to, I could see the horror in his eyes. And I said to him, mate, I'm not looking. He goes, Brayshaw, you look at me now. So I turn around, and he'd eased one of his pills through a hole in the bike pants.
Oh, no. The fly's eye. No.
It was just sitting outside of these horrible old holy bike shorts.
He would have been a chaffed old fella as well.
I cannot believe it. But to finish the question, the L. Brown's question. Now, Lehmann doesn't fit into sloppy and dirty, because he wasn't that. But the thing, Bluey, that I most remember about Buff.
Don't go there.
Is, Dos, we would finish fielding for the whole day with South Australia were the best in the compat. We'd come in, and Bluey, correct me if I'm wrong, he would, within 15 minutes, have no clothes on. And then an hour and a half later, he'd still have no clothes on. He just sat there with nothing on.
Yep.
Again, the good sized guts. And back then, the manscaping wasn't the thing it is now. And you just look across the room, and there was Buff every afternoon, every night, with nothing on for an hour and a half.
And never,
You're saying that manscaping's in business now, JB,
Well, I'd hope he gives it a little bit of a trimming up, but back then he didn't.
And never, ever would he close the toilet door either when he had to do, as Bumble would say, a sit-down job. And
sit-down job.
And the physio bench was right next to where the dunny was. So you wouldn't, you'd sort of have your head in the hole, and you'd get a bit of a, and then you'd look over, and there he was, all.
And he tries to give it the butter wouldn't melt in his mouth now. And we all know the bloke. Like, he's not getting away with that. All right, last one, because we're running out of time. Westy. Bluey. I cry laughing every time they play that vision of you getting bowled by Kirtley at the Wacker.
Oh, yeah. Hilarious.
He says,
hilarious.
He says, sorry, mate, but it's piss funny. Mainly your immediate reaction. He goes, is that the worst way you got out? Or was there another one that was worse? And Dos, you can answer the same question.
Oh, there was a very embarrassing dismissal. I mean, going back to that one that's been replayed every time we go to Perth, and there's like a crack even that big, it gets replayed.
Yep.
I was at a footy game at the MCG years and years ago, and I was in the toilet at having a twiddle, and a bloke next to me. A stand up. Yep, not a sit down job, a stand up. And there was a bloke next to me, and he goes, "Hey, Bluey, have a look at this." And on his phone, he had the replay of the Kirtley Ambrose Yorker, and I'm like,
in the dunny
at the MCG. Nice one. And then of course I got the teapot going, didn't I, after that dismissal? But
straight away.
A little bit more embarrassing than that was in the West Indies. I was playing an ODI game, and Carl Hooper was bowling. This was in Trinidad and Tobago, and he bowled a fuller one at me faster, and I went to cover drive it, and it was sort of Yorker length, missed it, and it felt like 2 seconds before there was a roar of the crowd, and I assumed stupidly that the keeper had missed it and it was going for byes, and I took off for a run, and Mark Waugh's at the other end shaking his head going, "What are you doing?" Turn around, and I looked behind, and there was Junior Murray with the ball in his gloves, and he just took the bails off. And I actually, he allowed enough time for me to try and get a dive in as well, which was all made it even more embarrassing. And I remember just sitting in the room, like what went through my head. So that was very embarrassing. Horrible.
Big Dos?
I was playing a game, Queensland Sackers, one-day game it was. And, of course, the change rooms are square of the wicket, which is quite unusual. There's not too many grounds in the world where you don't walk past the umpire at the bowler's end to get to the change rooms. Anyway, Jimmy Marr was on strike. Blue, you were playing this game. JB, you may have been playing this game. I
might have gone by then.
Jimmy Marr was on strike, hits one of the worst shots ever to Hags at long on.
Big goon.
Right. Yeah. So just fruity catch. Of course, it's a panic now because he knows he's going to be out, and so do I. So I kind of like stop. Hags drops it.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Right. So now it's a race back to the end to save your own ass. In which case, Marbo beats me. Right. So I get run out. So I walk off, and it's the only time I reckon that I've fair dinkum. I just felt like just getting my bat and just beating Marbo's legs. and get this right. This is the
kneecapping with a cricket bat.
Kneecapping with my own GN. Right. So luckily he goes on and he gets 100. I think Queensland win the game. But to rub a bit of salt in the wound, not only does he get 100, I'm run out on 20, not basically having nothing to do with the play. And Jimmy gets picked for Australia in the one-day side. So it was it was as like a bat off for the position as well. How filthy. There's one add a little juicy cracker to this story as well, because he knew that I got great bats. He said, "Oh, Dos, by the way, sorry about that today, but can I borrow your bat as well?"
No. No.
Oh my God. Diving in at the one end. That's not good.
My goodness.
It was like those boxes of the 8-punch combination. I just felt like Jimmy was just swinging them at me.
Speaking about Mark Harrity, you would have been playing Bluey, a Shield game in Adelaide against WA. And Peter McIntyre was bowling, and Justin Langer was 91 or 2 at this stage. and he had no time for Peter McIntyre as a bowler at all.
Nope.
No,
and he just said,
love him, didn't he?
He is there for one reason, and that's to be slogged as far as he could. But I thought, and everyone knows how well I know JL, MC at his wedding, etc., known him since he was a baby. So I thought I'll just see if I can have enough of a go at him that he'll find a way to hang himself. So Mac is bowling, and I started chirping him. I'm like, all right, boys, the ego will jump in here. He'll think he's 2 shots away. And I said, be alert. He's going to hit one up the chimney here. He will not be able to help himself. And I could tell, when Alf starts moving his head a little bit, I could tell he got this going. And I'm like, it's coming. Boys, it is coming. He is going to strangle himself. I guarantee it. Anyway, and his little head's going like this. 2 balls later, he comes down and he tries to hit it into the what is now the chapel stand. And it just bounced a little on him and it went straight out to deep mid wicket. And I'm at short cover and I am gleeful. I am gloating. I'm going, there it is. I guaranteed it. He has hung himself. See you later, champ. I'm going through all of this sort of stuff. Mark Harrity is parked under the easiest outfield catch you could ever be presented with. It was just one of these. Just plop straight in. So as the ball's in the air, don't shut the gate on the way out, you little midget. I am giving it to him. Hags, I've got a Diet Coke bottle here. Hags is just giving it that. Oh no. Drop. I'm not sure he actually got hands to the ball. It literally. So Lang has gone down the other end. And he has turned around and given me both barrels.
Did he get a couple hundred? Surely he dug in.
Yeah. I reckon he made 170 or something. And every time we walked off, drinks, lunch, drinks, tea, I conked the little bastard. Yeah. I'm like, Hags, mate, come on. It was one of the great setup jobs of all time. All you had to do was hang on to the ball. Anyway.
Hey, JB, right. just quickly, I was sitting down with Kels. I don't know, we have an afternoon drink, and she sort of bumped me in the ribs and says, "Take a look at this." Anyway, it was a scene. South Australian playing Victoria.
Yep. You
were batting with Buff. I think it was at Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
And Dean Jones was bowling.
Yes.
And he threw the ball straight at your head. What happened?
100% true. Oh well, Dino and I had a love-hate relationship. Most of it was hate. And funnily enough, you all know, we then worked together later on for years and got on like a bloody house on fire. But when we played Victoria Bluey, there was no love lost in those games. And he was right at he and Jamie Siddons went hard at each other. And then the rest of us sort of jumped on. So he hated me, as they all did. And he'd been chirping away about something or another. And he picked the ball up because I just hit one back to him and basically threw it straight at my head. Which never made any sense to me because by then I was wearing the grills. So I had a full helmet on. So even if he hit it, it wasn't going to hurt. But anyway, I managed to get out of the way, and I don't know what caused it, but I've been shown that bit of vision many times. Right. That was a ball being thrown at my head. Otherwise, it was Merv or Williams or Flem or Pistol bowling it at my head. That's pretty much how it always.
You had a little the happy glory and the glorious moment or finish to this little saga was that. The very next over, you twinkle-toed one through extra cover for a boundary, which is just a delightful way to just rub a bit of salt in the wound.
Well, he was a magnificent batsman, Dino, but he couldn't bowl. I mean, you're always happy when he had the ball in his hand. He just bowled these bloody side-winding straight things. Keep the questions coming, by the way. I love that. So Instagram, get on that. Send us a comment with a question attached. And the boys, when we get a quieter moment on the pod, will always answer all of your questions. One from Wendy about she goes around and plays cricket. Watches cricket around Australia. Her favourite tests are Adelaide and Sydney. She's wondering for you two as players, which was your favourite ground? So maybe just a quick answer for Wendy. Where did you, as players, what was your favourite venue to play cricket in Australia? Bluey?
Well, mine was Adelaide, quickly followed by Brisbane. I love Brisbane as well.
Big Dos?
Oh. I think we parked the question, Wendy.
You want to go deeper?
Well, I do because I mean each venue, it has such a great story. For example, in WA, there was this great little Indian chef that used to come out and used to serve lamb shanks when you won the test match there, you know. So, you know, that was just, or in Sydney, you know, in the change rooms, you get the old honour of just bashing up under the beautiful old cellars, and you trade punches with the cellarman. Like, so I think it's a deeper dive, Wendy.
All right. We will hold on to you, Wendy, and we'll get a bigger dive into that the next time we do the show. I hope you've enjoyed it, by the way, wherever you get your podcasts, all over Bar the Cricket. Also, Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Ask any question you want, and we'll get to them the same way we have today. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube, where you can watch the show live and enjoy all over Bar the Cricket. Well done, boys. We'll see you in a week's time.